From inside the beautiful arena of Capital University in Columbus, Ohio, TBT in its 5th season makes its first stop in Columbus for the Midwest Regional. And the matchup we have today, the 2-seed Team Fredette against the 15 seed, the Peoria All-Stars. We are in the bottom portion of the Midwest Regional bracket, and we've seen some great matchups already. Here's where we are in the bracket right now. This is the first round. Peoria had to win a play-in game last night to advance to play Team Fredette today. The winner moves on to round 2, a Sunday noon Eastern tip against the winner of that 7-10 matchup coming up later tonight. Summer basketball, it doesn't get much better than this. Alongside Robbie Hummel, my name is Chris Fosters. We have already seen some outstanding games at the Midwest Regional so far.
Well, certainly some great games here in Columbus, and I think we just saw a great one. Big X and Chattanooga really going down to the wire. We've seen some Elam endings come into effect, but so much at stake here, Chris. There's so much on the line, $2 million at stake. All these teams understand that. They're playing for it. We've had some great games thus far, and I expect to see some more throughout the day.
One of the most unique features about the tournament is the Elam ending. When you get to under 4 minutes in the 4th quarter, the clock is turned off. You set a target score 7 points higher than the leading team's score, and that becomes the mark you need to win the game. The Elam score in the play-in game last night, Robbie, played a pivotal role, and it came down to this last shot by Montel James for Peoria to win it.
Well, I think we've seen some strategy come into play as well. You see coaches, players having to really rethink the end of games. Some players actually almost getting a little bit, you could say, emotionally drunk, looking to play hero ball, looking to win the game. Montel James last night came through huge for the Peoria All-Stars, able to win the game and advance his team on in the bracket.
Unsurprisingly, he's in the starting lineup today against Team Fredette. And Jeffrey White, who is not in the starting lineup, had a pretty big game last night as well.
A little surprised to not see him. I thought he really controlled tempo, pushed the pace, had a nice game, 18.7 to 10 shooting, did turn the ball over 4 times, but I expect to see him in this game early and often.
Well, one of the biggest stars in all of TBT this year is Jimmer Fredette. He leads Team Fredette into this 2-15 matchup today. He's standing by with the 3rd member of our team, Jen Hale.
Chris, we want to welcome Jimmer back to U.S. soil. He's been playing in China, absolutely lighting it up. Jimmer, first of all, give me a little rundown of Team Fredette. You've added some great names like Jeff Ledbetter in your backcourt and Brandon Davies. I'm excited to see him in that pick and roll.
Yeah, definitely. We have a really good, talented team. I played with a lot of these guys before. Sometimes a couple of them are my first time, but I think we have a good group of guys that play well together, and good guys off the floor as well, which is a big part of it. So hopefully we have a good shot.
It's going to be some great basketball action. All right, you've been playing in China, Shanghai Sharks, league MVP for China last year. What is your life like now?
That's been good. I mean, the China experience has been great for myself and my family. I've loved the city of Shanghai, and the people have embraced me over there. So it's always fun to come home, be able to be here for 6 months and see my family. So that's the best part.
All right, TBT is going to be scrappier than the China League. Are you ready for this?
I don't know. They're pretty scrappy over there.
Guys, going to be some good basketball action, that's for sure.
Thank you, Jen, and we'll see how long that smile stays on Jimmer's face as he has his hands full with the Peoria All-Stars today. Rounding out the starting lineup, this is a loaded Team Fredette squad, even besides Jimmer.
Oh yeah, there's so many guys that can be effective for this Team Fredette. On the floor right now, Jeff Ledbetter, a guy that can knock down shots. Charles Abuo, a guy that played with Jimmer at BYU. Derek Cook has a great story in the sense that he didn't play basketball actually until he was 18, grew 6 inches, and then was able to garner a scholarship and play at the University of Wyoming. Brandon Davies, a name that you'll see and recognize from Jimmer's BYU teams as well. So I think you look at the talent level they have, but there's so many guys that they don't have and maybe could add here in the future. Xavier Silas, Devin Williams, Darrington Hobson, all guys that are very talented. Darrington Hobson, a guy that's been drafted into the NBA and played in the NBA, all out this weekend here for Team Fredette.
Brandon Davies was a late addition to this Team Fredette roster as well. They found out after the roster deadline, in fact, that he would be joining Team Fredette, so it cost Team Fredette a $1,000 penalty, but hey, if they take home that $2 million prize, it certainly offsets that.
And I think just in talking to Team Fredette's GM yesterday, Dan Britton, he said, look, Brandon Davies is the key to what we're going to do. He's a guy, without him, our size really took a hit. Without Dejan Kravic able to play this weekend, so huge addition for this team. A guy that's coming off a nice season over in the Lithuanian League.
Well, there's Jimmer down low. And it's Team Fredette that scores early thanks to Charles Abuo.
Great ball movement there. Jimmer Fredette makes a nice cut. Look at the chemistry. There's that BYU connection again already. Charles Abuo finds himself wide open at 15 feet.
Hard foul underneath, and remember, fans, both coaches are mic'd today. Mike Taylor is the head coach of Team Fredette. Willie Williams is the head coach of the Peoria All-Stars, so we'll be hearing from them throughout the matchup this afternoon.
Just in talking to Willie Williams yesterday, I have a feeling him being mic'd up is going to be pretty entertaining. Guy that's very passionate, not only about this Peoria All-Star team, but also the city of Peoria.
We could never do this, but it's a good thing that they didn't have him mic'd up for their film session last night for the Peoria All-Stars. We wanted to be flies on the wall because he told us after the game last night he planned to lay into the guys pretty good. There were some things that he did not like in Peoria's win in the play-in game.
Just the way, kind of their approach. They got to a great start, led 15-0 on West Coast Ronan, and then sort of fell asleep a little bit in a way. And we just saw Adonis Foote take a shot to the shoulder. He might be something injured there.
He's taking a seat right outside the three-point arc. And Aldonis Foote was a guy that never really got going last night in the play-in game. They wanted to certainly make him a bigger part of their story today, but if he goes down like this and can't return, that certainly deals Team Peoria a blow.
No, it certainly would. You see right here, there's the screen, and just kind of jams his shoulder up. Just a tough play there. Derek Cook setting a tough physical but legal screen, and like you said, Aldonis Foote, a guy that Willie Williams really wanted to get going early today. Struggled a little bit in last night's win, but has had success in the TBT. Last year averaged 16 points and a little over 4 rebounds a game in TBT action, but you have to just hope that that shoulder's okay.
So a hard but legal screen there, and Foote has been taken off the floor and is now seated on Peoria's bench. Foote did have 10 points, 5 rebounds in the win over West Coast Ronan last night, but he was only 4 for 13. And Mike Gills, 6'6" small forward from Illinois Valley Community College, takes his spot on the floor.
Good.
Guerin over Davies.
Wade Guerin showing the range, and in the second half yesterday didn't get a ton of minutes for this Peoria All-Star team. Montel James and Jordan Faison playing so well, but asserting himself early.
Quick steal. And Peoria did not shoot very well from long range last year. They were last night, that is. They were only 5 of 22. But an early lead over Team Fredette here in the 2:15 matchup. Gills, yes.
But Willie Williams told us, he said, we're going to come out, we can shoot much better than we did last night. And early here, 2 3-point field goals, huge for this Peoria All-Star team.
Ledbetter, the sharpshooter for Fredette, is off the mark early. Willie Williams eggs his team on the wing. Alexander off the mark. The putback by Gills is too strong. Here's Jimmer, passes up his first shot of TBT, and then a foul.
But what a start for the Peoria All-Stars and Willie Williams' squad out here. They have done everything that they've wanted to here. They've established themselves from 3. They've gotten some dribble penetration. Mike Gills right there squares that shot up, knocks it down. And we see this in the game of basketball. You can gain some confidence, hang around. Still early for sure, but right now things looking good for Peoria.
Davies too strong inside, and the foul. And that's definitely a contrast that we talked about going into this broadcast. For Team Fredette, they basically showed up in Columbus separately last night and had their first shoot-around less than 24 hours ago.
Certainly going to be some growing pains there for this Team Fredette team, as they just haven't been together. I think you look at it, though, they do have some built-in chemistry. A lot of BYU guys, a lot of guys that have played together in the past. So you have to think, on top of all that, it's also talent just trumps it. They have a very talented roster. We'll see if they can kind of figure it out and get going here as we go on.
Well, guys, Aldonis Foote is sitting right next to his coach now. He is finished with his physical examination. The good news for the Peoria All-Stars, it was really just a stinger in that right shoulder. He's got full range of motion, all of his strength. He's preparing to come back into this game.
All right, Jen, great stuff. And yes, we can definitely see Aldonis Foote has moved from one end of the bench to the other. He's cozying up right alongside his coach, Willie Williams, right now. But even without him, Peoria is off to a great start. 10-5 over Team Fredette, and Peoria again played last night. They're in rhythm, but now they've missed a couple of three-point shots. Guerin saves it for Peoria.
Set it up. Nova. Nova. Nova.
Marvin Jordan, the point guard, described as the vocal leader and most explosive player on the team. Picks up his dribble, finds James, the hero from last night, from long range.
Shooting in so much confidence here, Chris, and you just see Peoria has come out, knocked a couple threes down early, and you can tell they are not intimidated by the roster of Team Fredette.
Jimmer lost it, gets it back. And he threw it off a Peoria red jersey to keep it alive for Team Fredette.
Hey, that's good D.
James had 19 and 12 last night for Peoria, but I don't recall him showing his long-range game.
It was
like that.
really done inside the paint. Right now, showing the range off, showing the skill set.
Book it for Team Fredette. Derek Cook Jr., 6'9" power forward from Wyoming.
Peoria just kind of fell asleep there. Willie Williams talked about it in last night's game. The defense wasn't quite where he wanted it to be. Have to find those shooters for Team Fredette.
James cleans up the miss there.
I would think for Jimmer, you know, he just hasn't really been able to get into any sort of flow. A little bit out of rhythm. Right there trying to get something going to the rim, nothing doing.
And remember what Willie Williams, the coach for Peoria, told us last night. They want to make Jimmer defend, and they want to make him the point guard for Team Fredette to keep him from getting into a shooting rhythm.
Shoot the ball, Mike. There we go.
Guerin in the low block. That was a mismatch with Jeff Ledbetter guarding, but he stripped it.
Kiki. Grab Marvin.
Peoria goes to its bench. Jeff White comes in. He had an 18-point game last night over West Coast Ronan. Guerin spots up and drills his second three-pointer of the game.
Well, Derek Cook's going to have to be more aware of that. Wade Guerin can step out and definitely shoot the basketball. And that's twice now we've seen him set a screen, pop, and find himself open. It's a little bit lazy defense there from Team Fredette.
Cook Jr. goes to work off the mark. Ball is loose and out of bounds on the Peoria bench. And it stays with Team Fredette. Over halfway through this first quarter, or right around there anyway, 4 9-minute quarters. And then when you get under the 4-minute mark in the fourth quarter, the Elam ending takes over, and you play to a target score, and the game clock is turned off.
There we go.
Rashad James, another recent addition to Team Fredette's roster, sends it off the front of the rim, and Lawrence Alexander comes down with it. Guerin with a great touch pass to Faison, but it's taken away in the lane. Ledbetter through traffic, off to Fredette.
Corner, Kiki. Good D. Rotate.
Peoria's defenses look good in the first quarter.
They've just done a good job of staying disciplined. They haven't allowed any open looks, and that's just Jimmer Fredette going and making a nice play. Pretty good defense. That's really what Willie Williams wants. He wants to make Jimmer work for everything, and right now, so far, he hasn't been able to get in the open looks. It's all been self-generated.
The speculation coming in is that this is all about Jimmer Fredette's comeback attempt to get back to the NBA. If you talk to anybody on Team Fredette, they quickly dispel that and say he's just playing to have fun with his friends and his family. But Team Fredette is down by 8, under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. The 15 seed Peoria has come to play at TBT in Columbus.
A quick breather right now, all right? Hey,
So what do you like about Bradley right
Hey,
now?
keep playing, man. Keep playing.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you? Good game, Andrew.
Hey, box
Chris,
out everything.
man.
They jumping over the backs. Box out on everything, all right? Come on, let's play.
Is Peoria doing anything defensively right now?
I mean, I think they've just been solid. They haven't really given up any open looks. They've been really good
I'm afraid to put it in.
offensively. They've been impressive.
Not yet.
I would say Jimmer's team looks a little, they don't look very fluid right now, I guess would be the word.
Gotcha.
Jordan for, I'm afraid to put him in for playing good, man. I really ain't got no complaints. Keep playing defense, keep moving the ball, all right? Keep talking on D. We're going to talk from the bench, so I'll keep it.
Cool.
Gotcha.
You want us to talk about the games we had or the games we're looking towards? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Peoria is trying to spark an upset, leading number 2 seed Team Fredette by 8 points in the first quarter. Here's the top half of the Midwest Regional bracket from Columbus, Ohio, and there have already been some upsets, Robbie.
Really have. And you look at that always a brave score going down to the primetime players. A perfect example in the Elam ending. They led by 9 when the score was set, unable to score primetime, able to take advantage. Then Big X taking Chattanooga down by 2 in a very good game that we just saw right before this one. Looking ahead, you have to think Scarlet and Gray is the favorite. I mean, they are loaded with talent. They've got guys that play overseas. They're coached by Scooney Penn and Evan Turner. A lot to like about this Scarlet and Gray team as we go forward, especially here at home in Columbus.
Willie Williams played for Bruce Weber as a high school player at Peoria High. He coaches this Peoria All-Star team now, and the always a brave team that got upset earlier today is composed of Bradley University alumni. Bradley is also in Peoria, so there's definitely a rivalry there with some bragging rights on the line to see which Peoria-based team goes further in TBT, and the Peoria All-Stars already have that in the bag.
A lot of talent in Peoria. You've seen that, especially at the University of Illinois throughout the years. Talent-rich area, able to field 2 teams here in this year's TBT.
Rashad James 1 for 2 on the free throws. It's a 7-point game now.
We really saw Peoria pounded inside last night. They really went to their bigs, and so far it's been a perimeter-based attack.
There we go.
And a foul underneath, but the interior presence for Team Fredette, at least on paper, is much more intimidating than that of West Coast Ronin last night.
Well, no question. West Coast Ronin was dealt a huge blow when Robert Swift, I guess, did not show up for the tournament. So the quality of bigs here for Team Jimmer, or Team Fredette, excuse me, is going to be much better. You're looking at Brandon Davies. You're looking at guys that are physical. You're looking at Derek Cook. Good size, good athletes. Going to be a much bigger challenge for the Peoria All-Stars going into today, but so far they've done a great job.
Our next WNBA game of the week is Tuesday, and it's a matchup between teams that begin with L but are looking for a W. It's the Liberty and the Lynx at Target Center in Minneapolis, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ESPN2 and streaming live on the ESPN app. Jordan Crawford has checked into the game, 5'6", former Bowling Green player from 2009 to 2013. Also with G League experience with the Memphis Hustle. Fredette now. Tough shot. Off the rim. Face-on has it for Peoria. Up to White. Off his foot. Still loose. And it goes to Team Fredette.
One corner, one corner.
Nice head fake by Derek Cook Jr., but he threw it away.
Right now, Peoria really doing a nice job of keeping Team Fredette on the side. They're not allowing dribble penetration to the middle. They're up into the Team Fredette guards. They're making it difficult. So far, a great defensive effort for Willie Williams' club.
Peoria was not pleased with its defensive performance yesterday, even in a win. Wild lob pass stays with Team Fredette, and one of the defensive points that they had going in was to direct all of the traffic to the sidelines and really clog up the middle. You just said they're doing a good job of that.
Definitely a key for this Peoria team. And right now, Team Fredette just looks a little bit out of sync. You can tell that they haven't been able to spend the time together. It's certainly an issue in TBT when you're dealing with a group of guys that don't live in the same area. Just a little bit out of rhythm. Derek Cook doing a nice job there, just putting his head down, getting into the paint, making something really out of nothing right there.
And Jen, you had the chance to speak with Willie Williams and really dive into his scouting report on Team Fredette.
Absolutely, guys. If you think that Team Peoria has not had a chance to do film study just because this is TBT, think again. Perhaps part of this lead is because Willie Williams spent countless hours pulling YouTube clips of every team member on Team Fredette, and he says this Peoria team has spent the past month scouring that, looking for tendencies, looking for clues, knowing their opponent, and I think that's really showing right now with the score.
Thank you, Jen. 2.5 minutes left, and yes, only the first quarter, but Peoria has to be quietly pleased with its 8-point lead over Team Fredette so far. And the pulling up YouTube clips, that certainly sounds like the conversation that we had with Willie last night, where he says, I know these guys' stats, I know where they played high school basketball, I even know what they had for breakfast.
Well, that's all well and good, and that's great preparation for sure, but at the same time, this Peoria team has come out and executed the game plan. They've done a nice job of doing exactly what Coach Williams wanted, and so far the tempo and I think just the level of the way the game has played out has really gone towards Peoria.
Davies nearly had the rebound, but Team Fredette does in fact hang on. Crawford left his feet and stepped out of bounds. You mentioned that Team Fredette is still trying to settle in, and how big of a role is the fact that they haven't really played together until tonight?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something to think about. You look at the really good teams in this tournament, the Scarlet and Grays, Team ALS, Overseas Elite, those guys have a chemistry developed, and they've been together. Look at a team like Scarlet and Gray, those guys, they all live in Columbus. It's really a cool situation that Ohio State has built, where a culture of all their guys, they live right here. So Scooney Penn was saying, man, we've practiced, we've been together. So for Team Fredette to win this thing and come out of this region, they're really going to have to gel quickly. Certainly at a disadvantage early on here.
This is Ben Friday in the post, behind the back pass. Jordan on the drive. Fadeaway over Davies.
Well, Marvin Jordan doing such a nice job there of getting into the paint, but then jump stopping. You see so many players get in there, they're out of control. Beautiful jump stop by Marvin Jordan, then able to knock down the beautiful fadeaway jumper.
By the way, Aldana's foot, number 22 in red, is back in the game for Peoria.
Here it is, there's that jump stop. Nice little fadeaway over Brandon Davies, tough shot. Marvin Jordan showing off the skill set right there.
Jordan had a standout college basketball career at Niagara from 2010 to 2014.
I'm really impressed with the way Peoria's guarded Jimmer Fredette. I mean, they have not given him any type of daylight. Certainly up into him when he's dribbling the basketball. And they've just frustrated him here in this first quarter.
And we talked semi-jokingly, but if we saw Jimmer drop 40 points today, we wouldn't bat an eye. But I think it's even more surprising that with a minute left in the first quarter, he's only got 2 points.
No, that certainly is surprising. And you've seen what he's been able to accomplish in China. You know his BYU accolades, played in the NBA for 5 or 6 years. So he's a guy that has certainly accomplished a lot in his basketball career. And I just am a little surprised, I guess. And it's a credit to Peoria, just what they've been able to do. There you go again, Aldana's foot showing the quick hands. Jimmer unable to get that ball to the rim.
And Team Fredette has to know that they're going to get Peoria's best shot here. You see the emotion from Aldana's foot on that block. Everybody knows who Jimmer Fredette is.
Let's talk. Let's talk.
Davies sets the screen. James draws the foul.
I think Rashad James, the guy that we've seen score 50-plus points in a G League game, certainly a key for this Team Fredette squad going forward. You look at his scoring ability, you look at his athleticism, his explosiveness, a guy that can create his own shot. And with Jimmer really not playing well here in the first quarter, he's going to be a guy that's counted on to maybe get some offense going for Team Fredette.
This week, our Sunday night baseball game presented by Taco Bell is the Subway Series finale between the Mets and the Yankees. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN with baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown. And it's also streaming live on the ESPN app. Final minute of the first. We got a surprise brewing here in Columbus. You don't want to call it an upset brewing just yet. It's only the first quarter, but a 12-point lead for the 15-seed Peoria All-Stars over 2-seed Team Fredette with perhaps the best player in the tournament, Jimmer Fredette.
Well, I like what they did right there. A little half-court trap action. You speed up the Peoria All-Stars into throw an errant pass. Brandon Davies able to pick it off. And you know, as a player, when you're not playing well on the offensive end of the floor, getting to the free throw line is so important. We've seen Rashad James get there, hasn't converted. Now Brandon Davies with the opportunity to get 2 easy ones here.
Brandon Davies has some NBA experience on his resume, 2+ seasons with the 76ers. A huge addition late for this Team Fredette roster. He had a great overseas season, won a cup in Lithuania, and needs to get going really to help Jimmer Fredette and the rest of Team Fredette to get back in this game. White gets around Fredette, wraps a pass to the top of the key. Gills is short. Davies can move. And a great dish into the low block. Rashad James puts it home. Foot cannot get that shot away, and the first quarter comes to a close. So Team Fredette scores the last bucket of the quarter. But what a start for this upstart Peoria All-Star team, a team with legitimate TBT experience. They've already won a play-in game this year, and they have no intention of backing down to Team Fredette. 24-15 in Columbus. The second quarter is next.
Anything that we need to do better or anything like that? Cool. Are you surprised at what Jimmer looks like? I'm shocked.
He doesn't look like anything. He's like hidden.
I am so surprised. It's like,
what I'm surprised is, like, why is he not just coming down and jacking up a three? Like, I want to see him shoot.
I know. That's what he does.
He passed up a three.
I know. I don't know. Wade Guerin. Got benched last night. He has responded with vengeance here today. Sweet.
Do you want Robbie to take it coming out, Damon? Or do you want me to throw it to him?
I can take it. Is it going to the highlight right away? Or yeah, that's fine. I'll take it.
Yes. Okay.
Wade Guerin saw his minutes get cut last night with the play of Montel James and Jordan Faison, but that has not fazed him today. 3 of 3 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 8 points, 2 rebounds. See him stretching the floor right there. Really been a big part of Peoria All-Stars offense early in this game, and he's got out to the hot start. Really been a big part of what Peoria's done.
And a hot start matches the red on the Peoria All-Stars jerseys. You see the Puma logo there, and TBT is proud to have Puma as an official sponsor of the tournament this year. And what's really cool, Robbie, is that Puma has announced that for every player who plays in TBT this year and goes on to receive an NBA contract during the 2018-19 season. Puma will give that player a shoe contract, which is awesome.
No, it is. We've seen Puma really make a push, whether that's here in the TBT or in the NBA with some of the rookies they were able to sign. Seen some big name guys go to Puma, and really cool they've been a part of the TBT this season as well.
Well, the namesake for Team Fredette, Jimmer Fredette, is on the floor right now, number 32 in white and BYU blue. James gets fouled, and yet to start the second quarter, we give you a highlight package of Wade Guerin making it rain from three. Where was Jimmer in the first quarter?
Yeah, a little surprised that he wasn't able to assert himself the way that we kind of thought going into this tournament. But you see right there, nice screen and roll action. Aldana's foot handling the basketball. Montel James rolling to the rim. Peoria, they're just operating right now at a high level. Out of the timeout, Willie Williams draws the play up, and you saw Aldana's foot as he made that pass. James gets fouled. He looked at the bench, pointed at his coach, told him,
call it, it can't be on,
hey,
on
good luck.
Brandon. You know what I mean? I got you. But I'm saying, you saw it right here. Same call on Jimmer's drives. Hands off. If you're going to call a light tap foul like that, you got to call the same thing on Jimmer's drives. They're holding them. Pick and rolls and drives to the basket the entire first quarter.
That's Mike Taylor, Team Fredette's head coach.
Hey, V,
have you noticed the foul discrepancy that he was talking about there?
Well, I think that the Team Peoria has certainly tried to be physical with Jimmer, and Coach Mike Taylor certainly wanting those calls, but to me so far the whistle's been pretty even, pretty fair both ways.
Match up.
Jimmer with the rock now, only 2 points in the first quarter. He even passed up a couple of three-pointers. We were surprised to see some passivity from him.
But you see right there, Peoria's so aware. There's two guys in the pick and roll at all times looking to not allow him to get going from three.
Brandon Davies finished the first quarter strong and gets Team Fredette's first bucket of the second quarter to make it an 8-point game. Davies could pose some problems down low for Peoria. He's bigger than Wade Guerin, who's Peoria's biggest player. There's a turnover and a quick foul.
Well, just a sloppy play there by Lawrence Alexander. He had Wade Guerin in the pick and pop. Got to take your time, set your feet, make a good pass. Kind of flung that across his body. Team Fredette able to defend.
Well, Jen Hale got Jimmer Fredette to smile in the pregame interview, but he's not smiling right now. Looked a little fired up after that turnover. Still looking for his first three-pointer of TBT, and that's a kick ball.
Hey, good D, Wade.
You've played with Jimmer, right?
Yeah, no, he lives in Denver, so when I was with the Nuggets, he'd come in and play open gym. He was going to China. Incredible shooter. It's why it's so surprising, I think, that he hasn't really looked for his shot from the three-point line thus far. And credit Peoria, they've been up on him, haven't given him any free looks, but a little surprised he hasn't been more aggressive thus far.
White. James with the putback weak side.
And that's what Jeffrey White's been able to do. He maneuvers so well in such a small space of the painted area right there. Draws so much attention. Brandon Davies comes over to block his shot. And you see the weak side is completely just cleared out.
Davies. That one rattles in.
Well, Brandon Davies can play. And as Dan Britton, their GM, said, he's the key to this team. And he has carried this team thus far, carried the offensive load. And you kind of feel a momentum shift coming right here. You kind of feel like Team Fredette is really getting it going. Brandon Davies showing some toughness, showing some grit right there.
They sure are, and another bucket for Team Fredette has made this a 4-point game with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Timeout, Peoria. Can they keep Team Fredette at bay?
Hey, Wade. Then keep him out the middle. Make him go to the opposite side. He want to come on that same shoulder every time, all right? And the weak side help got to be there. We can recover to these old-ass shooters. So if he get the ball in there, we got to recover, man.
It's okay.
Jimmer Fredette and Team Fredette got punched in the mouth by Peoria in the first quarter. Still work to do to regain the lead. But it's been a good start to quarter number 2 for the 2 seed in the Midwest Regional. Team Fredette looking to advance to the second round.
And I think you could feel at the end of the first quarter, Team Fredette just amped up the energy on the defensive end, got some easy offense, got to the free throw line. It's carried over into the second quarter here. And you have to think that just the defensive end of the floor right now is going to be the key for Fredette's team as long as they offensively are not effective in the half court.
Team Fredette ball on the missed jumper by Montel James, who is still having an outstanding game for Team Peoria. He's got 13 points already after a double-double last night in the play-in win over West Coast Ronin. Here's Fredette. That's his first three-pointer of the tournament, and he wanted a foul too. Davies takes it away. Gallup lines it up. Guerin saves it for Peoria. How does Peoria handle Team Fredette's run? Guerin off the mark. Fredette saves it in the corner. Jimmer's seen it go through the net now. He tries a floater and hits. He goes to the line.
You see Jimmer Fredette, he's tried to slip some pick and rolls earlier in this game. Finally able to be effective. Gets in the paint. And I think we might have got Jimmer for a tech on taunting. And yeah, they did.
Hey, this is not his show. This is not his show. It's not about him.
It's not about that. It's about your player taunting the other guy after making the basket.
Yeah, listen, you got to protect him.
By the way, Robbie, they gave Team Fredette's bench a warning there too.
That's a very good piece of officiating by this crew of coming over, and what he just said to Mike Taylor, where it's not about, it's about him taunting another player. We saw as Jimmer got the and-one, he certainly was demonstrative about signaling the and-one and saying something. Not sure exactly what he said, but I do agree with the official right there. Did a nice job of handling that situation.
So for Peoria, Lawrence Alexander is on the free throw line now.
Yeah, we're calm. We're calm.
No, you're not calm because everyone's overstanding now.
They're calm, though. There's nobody over emotional over here.
Robbie, that's big for Peoria to get those free throws and sort of stop Team Fredette's momentum a little bit.
It certainly is, and we're going to see Jimmer. His basket does count. He's going to have an opportunity for the and-one with the free throw right here, but a big momentum swing. Peoria hadn't been able to get much going offensively, so for them to get 2 free throws out of that technical foul, really big for them here going forward.
Mike Taylor is still barking about that. He's already been given a warning. They don't hand out techs in TBT like they do in 3-on-3, but better be careful.
Go, Jordan, go, Jordan. Yeah.
Face on, double team strip. James cleans it up and puts it in for Peoria. He's been sensational again.
Well, a fortunate bounce right there for Peoria. Team Fredette doing a nice job double teaming the post. Unfortunately for them, that ball just rolls right to a wide open player for an easy layup.
James has 15 and he cleans up the Brandon Davies miss. Peoria in front by a nose. Out to Alexander. Offensive rebound, face-on off glass.
We saw it last night. Jordan Faison so effective off of offensive rebounds right now, imposing his will on this game. Fredette has to make sure they get a body on him.
Too many steps for Jimmer Fredette, and not to rain on Peoria's parade, but they were expecting to get 3-point production from Lawrence Alexander, and they haven't had it once again. But here's that offensive rebound by Faison.
Well, Jordan Faison doing work on the glass, and Peoria right now doing work on the glass. They are out rebounding Team Fredette 19-8 thus far. Really a main cog of their offense. Haven't shot the ball. It's better than last night. Probably not to the level they'd like to, but they are getting it done on the glass.
Turnovers is one way to get Team Fredette back in this game. That's what happens to Peoria right there. Jordan Crawford on the dribble. He led the MAC in minutes per game as a senior at Bowling Green back in the 2012-13 season. On the dish to Davies, there's a foul underneath. It goes against Peoria.
You have to think for Team Fredette in this game, Brandon Davies, such a lethal weapon. He can roll, he can pop, he can knock down. You know, to me, he is a capable three-point shooter. He did not shoot many this year in Lithuania, but I've seen him knock down shots from the perimeter in the past. So a dual threat, a guy that can get to the rim, do a lot of things for this offense. Expect to see him in pick and roll in a heavy dose today.
And Davies' teammate Jimmer Fredette has been quick to shift the spotlight around Team Fredette away from this being Jimmer's NBA comeback story. But Brandon Davies is a guy that could very well be auditioning for an NBA roster spot.
No question. You look at what he was able to do in Lithuania, played for Zalgiris, which is also a EuroLeague team, so it's considered one of the top 16 teams in Europe. Had a great season. He's a guy that's been in the NBA before. Would not surprise me to see him back in the league.
He steps out to guard Marvin Jordan there for Peoria, who gets the ball back. Foot deep three, over Gallup, and it rattles in.
Well, for him, Chris, it's just a matter of time. And Willie Williams wanted him to let the game kind of come to him. We saw him get hurt earlier in today's game. But he's a guy that's capable. He's scored in this tournament before, had a tough night last night. But we'll see if he can get it going.
Faison has really asserted himself on the glass for Peoria. He trips. And that's a foul on Team Fredette. Needless to say, Mike Taylor is not happy with that call.
Jordan Faison having a nice game, but I'm not sure that's what you want him doing. Takes the ball off the glass, and that's what Mike Taylor's saying. He does push off there. Officials missed that call. The push off was before the trip, but really a break there for the Peoria All-Stars.
He tripped over his own 2 feet, not Derek Cook Jr.'s.
Yeah, you know that's the truth.
Charles Abuo is back into the game for Team Fredette.
I'm just telling you.
James has already hit from long range. That's well off the mark. Davies has it, heaves it up to Cook. It was tipped. He saves it. Underneath Crawford, mouse in the house. He brings it back out.
Smart decision there by Jordan Crawford. Analyzed the situation, saw they didn't have numbers, bring it out, now run your offense.
Pull up. Davies with the putback, and he's fouled. We've got an entertaining game on our hands as we approach halftime. Peoria by 5 over Team Fredette. Could this be the biggest upset of the tournament so far in the making?
Hey, listen. Hey, let's make it easy, fellas. Let's make all this stuff easy, all right? Just make the easy pass, the good pass. Hey, sometimes we won't have to say. Hey, let's make it easy, fellas. Let's make all this stuff easy, all right? Just make the easy pass, the good pass. Hey, sometimes we won't have to set them screens because Jimmy can't guard him. Hey, we can go 5 out. Take him, all right?
I want to get some.
Okay.
Let's make all this stuff easy, all right? Just make the easy pass, the good pass. Hey, sometimes we won't have to set them screens because Jimmy can't guard him. Hey, we can go 5 out. Take him, all right?
I want to get some.
Perfect.
I'll let you just chime in after that. You cool with that?
Yeah, that's
okay.
fine. I'll just take it out of the video. Okay.
Let's make all the stuff easy, all right? Just make the easy pass, the good pass. Hey, sometimes we won't have to set them screens because Jimmy can't guard him. Hey, we can go 5 out. Take him, all right?
I want to get some passes. Me personally, I want to just come down.
Well, when we talked to Willie Williams last night, that's exactly what he said. They wanted to make Jimmer a point guard, but they also wanted to put him on the defensive end of the floor and take him as much as possible. Jimmer, a guy that his reputation not to be the best defender in the world. He's not a bad defender, but you just want to make him work. And we'll see, can Peoria take that game plan from the huddle, take it to the floor, and make it effective?
And that was one of the knocks against Jimmer in his run in the NBA. One of the theories about why he wasn't able to stick in the league because of his defensive struggles, his struggles handling the length in the NBA. And Peoria certainly is aware of that, and they are not backing down from it one bit. Davies goes 1 for 2. It's saved by Cook Jr. 4-point game. Hard contact in the lane, an offensive foul.
That's one of those possessions where you have multiple looks at the rim. You got to get a shot up. You almost overpass. Right there, Charles Abuo, he's got to shoot that shot. You're putting Derek Cook, a big, in such a tough position. He's cutting in to the paint. You're throwing the ball. Not really a ball handler with his size at 6'9". It's one of those where Charles Abuo just needs to shoot the basketball.
Not sure what the most surprising part about this game has been, the fact that Jimmer Fredette only has 6 points, or the fact that Peoria is outscoring Team Fredette in second chance points 13-0.
We saw them really dominate the interior last night, but we both thought coming into this game, Team Fredette's bigs were going to be good enough to limit those opportunities. They haven't been. There's Jimmer right there. Doesn't need much space, doesn't need a whole lot of time. When he gets going, look out.
And in that case, didn't need to be flat on his feet.
I mean, there's a reason he averaged 28 points a game at BYU. The dude can play. And right there, nice little playing pick and roll, step back. Pretty shot.
28.9 points per game, I think. You're not going to give him 29?
We'll round up. 29 points a game at BYU.
He was the National Player of the Year his senior year at BYU. Averages 6 points per game in his NBA career. Of course, drafted by Milwaukee, but then traded to Sacramento on draft night. Also saw some time with the Pelicans in 2016.
Lawrence Alexander for Peoria is a guy that needs to get it going. He's 0-5 today. He's 1 of 14 last night. So just a guy with a big-time reputation as a shooter has not made shots thus far in this tournament. In the second half, going to be a guy they need to score.
Davies couldn't quite put the miss back in, and then there's a foul in the battle for the rebound. And that goes against Brandon Davies of Team Fredette.
It's almost like he set it like a volleyball up there. Rushed through that tip in. Then you commit a foul 94 feet from the rim. Just tough when Peoria is having a hard time generating offense outside of offensive rebounds. You put him at the line, now out down his foot.
Good job. Way to play
Again, gets a
smart.
chance for 2 easy points.
X Games Minneapolis continues tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN. The world's best action sports athletes will be competing in the Fruit of the Loom BMX Dirt, Moto X Best Whip, Monster Energy Moto X Best Trick, and the Real Cost Skateboard Big Air Finals. You can also watch the X Games streaming live on the ESPN app. A couple of costly missed free throws there for Peoria. But they still lead by 1. Final 3 minutes of the second quarter. This is the 2-15 matchup. We're at the bottom of the Midwest Regional bracket. Winner plays in the second round on Sunday against the winner of the 7-10 matchup. The Jackson, Tennessee Underdogs and Zoo Crew, a Pittsburgh alumni team. That comes your way later tonight on ESPN 3.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Charles. Charles.
Jordan picks up the foul for Peoria. He has word with his coach, and Jimmer Fredette now on the free throw line, still shaking that one off.
I'm a little surprised that Marvin Jordan called off the dogs there, didn't really pressure and get into Jimmer there, bringing the basketball up. Then he gets to half court. You foul him 40 feet from the basket, put him at the line. You want to make him work, but you have to be intelligent about it.
Good job, Jimmer! Good job, Jimmer!
Team Fredette has the lead. They were down by as many as a dozen in the first quarter.
One, front! Good, front! Get around!
Can Peoria now hang with Team Fredette? Aldana's foot way off the mark. James is always around the rim.
Well, right now, Peoria looks like one of those Michigan State teams where sometimes their best offense is just get that ball up on the rim and let our bigs go to work. Oh, that's deep.
Hello. Flame from Jimmer Fredette. He's starting to heat up. Peoria better be careful. Jordan follows the screen. Threads a pass into the corner. That's Daryl Howell. Face on the putback off glass.
And Peoria is just dominating the painted area. They just have been such a force.
Cook Jr. tried to throw down a tip slam and then was fouled underneath by Aldana's foot. Peoria says that should go against Team Fredette, but it won't.
He jumped on his back.
That is an athletic play there by
He jumped on his back, bro.
You see the elevation in the rise.
He goes and gets it.
That ball hanging up there, it's like he was waiting for it to come down.
He has possession of the ball.
He's the definition of an athlete.
He's on his
Look at
back.
a guy
If he's
that
over
does
his
not play
back while my
basketball for
man
the
has
first
inside
18 years
position and he
of his
lands
life.
on him, how is that a foul?
And then ends up being a pro. Played last year in Australia.
But still, if
Really
if
an
he's on his
incredible
back,
story.
he's on his ground. How is that a foul?
I think about if I was to not play basketball for the first 18 years, I would be so bad. You know, it's one of those things where you look at a guy like that, he is so athletic.
And they're doing it every time.
Well, Derek Cook Jr. went to Friendly High School in Fort Washington, Maryland. As you said, did not play high school basketball there. When he graduated, he was 6'3", and then underwent a growth spurt, shot all the way up to 6'9", and eventually became a Division I player at Wyoming. Pinball here. Ledbetter has it again for Team Fredette. In the corner, Rashad James all day. No friendly roll that time.
Jeff Ledbetter saved the bucket right there. Peoria had numbers. Ledbetter making such an intelligent play, reading the eyes of the passer. Gets to that pass in transition. And again, we've seen Team Fredette all day use their defense to create offense. Rashad James gets a great look in the corner, and Charles Abuo cleans it up.
And Abuo is at the free throw line
You
now.
sit there and watch. He got to box out. All right? Wait. Get Montel.
And Abuo is one of 3 former BYU Cougars on Team Fredette's roster, along with Jimmer Fredette and Brandon Davies. Abuo currently plays in the top professional league in France. And we got a 2-point game coming out of the wire in the second quarter. Jeffrey White stops, pops, hits.
Well, that's Peoria's best offensive possession we've seen in quite some time. A little high-low action, swing the basketball, and Jeffrey White plays off the closeout, plays off Jimmer, and makes a play.
Jimmer in traffic, and a whistle. Rattles the first one in for Fredette. Has spent the last 2 seasons playing for the Shanghai Sharks. You might have seen him cross your Sports Center top 10 highlight reel back in February when he dropped over 70 points in a game in Shanghai.
You have 70 points. That's even making that many shots in a game. The Chinese league, very, very competitive, very good. A lot of good Americans play over there. That is an impressive number.
White is short. Back out to Guerin. Peoria recycles. Shot clock is still on. Less than 2 seconds of a differential between the shot clock and the game clock right now. And Fredette fouls Jeff White.
And that is not a smart foul right there. You're really playing probably for the last shot of the half. And no need to go get Jeffrey White at 40 feet from the basket and foul him, put him on the line.
White played for the Peoria All-Stars last year. And Peoria was actually in a portion of the 2017 TBT bracket that played games with an Elam ending. So Peoria rolled into 2018 TBT, very familiar with Elam ending from a strategic standpoint. And again, they've already played a play-in game at the tournament this year. So if we're still close when we get to 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, it'll be interesting to see how Peoria handles the Elam ending with more experience than Team Fredette in that situation.
Well, we saw him last night, too, come down to the wire and play a game where there was strategic fouls being used in a way that you'd never see in a regular basketball game, whether that's college or NBA. So a lot on these coaches, a lot on these players have to think just playing in it is such an advantage.
Jimmer in traffic, 5 seconds left. That one bounces off the rim. 2 seconds left. White's heave from the rafters is off the top of the backboard. And fittingly, after a tooth and nail back and forth affair, we're knotted at 44. How about this Peoria team in the first half?
Well, just impressed with their grit, impressed with the way that they came out and implemented their scouting report. Really effective, frustrated Jimmer. Jimmer did get going a little bit at the end of the second quarter, but so far so good for Peoria. Have to be happy if you're Willie Williams going into the halftime break.
Here's Jen Hale with Team Fredette's Brandon Davies.
Thanks, guys. Brandon, it took Team Fredette a little bit of a time to get going. What changed for y'all towards the middle of that second quarter?
We just needed to wake up defensively. Once we started playing better defense and more aggressive, we made a little run. So got to keep that going and start off with a good defensive effort.
What are the Peoria All-Stars doing to Jimmer Fredette? He had specifically a hard time getting into rhythm at the beginning of that game.
He's just getting warmed up. You know, they're not doing anything too special. You know, he's a scorer. He'll find ways to do him, and we have a lot of confidence in him, and we just got to keep making plays.
You seem to be carrying the load for this team offensively and defensively when you look at the game as a whole so far. Are you ready for the second half? Is there some adjustment you make in your own game?
Yeah, we need to get on the glass on both ends. You know, that's what's keeping them in the game is, you know, their offensive rebounds, so we got to get better at putting bodies on them and cleaning up the glass.
Thanks, Brandon. Best of luck second half.
Thank you.
Chris?
Okay, Jen, thanks very much. You saw it on the screen a moment ago. 13 points for Team Fredette's big man Brandon Davies. Jimmer Fredette, 18 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 3 of 3 from long range. Peoria has given Team Fredette all it can handle at TBT.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Don't worry.
Welcome back to the basketball tournament, everybody. TBT here on ESPN. Winner take all $2 million tournament. It has been a fantastic day of basketball action starting all the way back at 8 a.m. And one of the most exciting games we had today, the Big X was the triumphant team out of this group. Jamel Morris out of Fairmont State scored the game-winning shot along with 23 points, by the way, Jamel. Take me back to that shot that won it all, that kiss off the glass.
Well, I was thinking about trying to get it back because I just made a charge with the game before and almost gave it the game-winning rebound. So I'm thankful, my teammate saved me on the rebound, and my team trusted me and called my number, and I was ready when it was called.
One of the things that made this such an exciting game, at one point your team was down by 16 points. Then at the end of the contest, the Elam ending came into play and made for quite the dramatic finish. Did the Elam ending change your strategy or the way you approach the final minutes of the game in any way?
It does because, it puts a lot more pressure. So in that situation, you really want to be winning so you can have that edge. We went to so it's hard because you don't want to foul. When it was 79-79 and you have a possession, a foul free throws can cost a game. So you got to play careful. You got to play it smart. And I think that's what we did, and we gave our best effort, and that's how we came up with the win.
And it worked. Congratulations. You've got primetime players tomorrow. How do you prepare? Because this is an unusual league. There isn't necessarily the information and the film study out there available as readily as in, say, college or the NBA.
They're going to be good because someone told us before they've played 2,000 games together. So the chemistry is all the way there. So we just got to come out and rely on each other and trust our abilities of the levels that we've played at, and just come out, defend, take care of the ball, make shots, and I think we'll have a good chance, put ourselves in a good position to win the game.
We're looking forward to watching. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
And be sure to keep it right here on ESPN. Coming up, the second half of a tremendously interesting game. Tie game, as a matter of fact. We'll be back right after this.
The craziness of TBT has arrived in Columbus. The 15-seed Peoria All-Stars in the Midwest region trying to upset number 2 Team Fredette, led by that guy right there, Jimmer Fredette. Second half beckons. Hi there once again, everybody, from Capital University in Columbus, Ohio. I'm Chris, that's Robbie. So 44-44 is the score. You look at the stat sheet, and Jimmer Fredette has 18 points. Are you surprised?
Well, I guess in a way, because it was a little different than I thought that maybe he'd get there. It was a very inconsistent, strange half for Jimmer. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, but then really got it going as the half led on.
He can still shoot, as you'll see in this highlight package from the first half.
Well, that's what he's known for. He's known for that range, showing it off there, going here, making a play, getting a little something in that fadeaway jumper for himself. This is more action right here that I expect to see in the second half. Get the ball inside to Brandon Davies, have Jimmer play off the ball, nice cut, and then there was the and one where he picked up the technical foul. I mentioned Brandon Davies. He's had a monster half, really carried Team Fredette in the first half at times on the offensive end of the floor. Probably one of their most important players here in TBT. Nice little ball fake right there. And then the score, just a dominant player, had a nice season overseas. He's been really good today for Team Fredette. On the other side of the basketball, offensive rebounding, such a huge part of what the Peoria All-Stars have been about. Montel James, Jordan Faison, both guys so active on the glass, and then a lot of times in the first half, the best offense Peoria could get was just getting it up on the rim, let our bigs go get it, let them make a play. We'll see, can Team Fredette do a better job in the second half of getting a body on the Peoria All-Star big men?
Peoria had to play its way in to get to this, just the first round of TBT. If you thought they were going to wilt in the face of Team Fredette, you were wrong. Here is Jen standing by with Peoria's head coach.
Chris, no doubt a scrappy team here with Peoria. Willie Williams, the head coach, you managed to contain Jimmer Fredette almost all of that first half. You dominated in the paint. What was the key to your start?
Well, just coming out hard, fast, and physical. We have to continue to contain him and make him become a point guard. I know that was one of his weaknesses with the video we scouted, is to make him make decisions with the ball instead of just being an open shooter and getting his shot. We want to make him work on the offense and defense end. If he's guarding someone on our team, we want to attack him, make him move his feet, get physical with him. So we just want to work him on both ends of the court.
And defensively, do you do anything different against Brandon Davies this half?
Just box him out more. You know, just move around with him and box him out. Once he gets the ball on the inside, just help defense more help.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Chris.
Okay, Jen, thank you very much. Willie Williams coaches a men's league in Peoria. He saw a Bradley alumni team playing in TBT a couple of years ago while he was in a hotel room, and he said to his wife, I know guys in Peoria better than this. So he put together the Peoria All-Stars, and here they are taking Team Fredette on in the first round of TBT. We switch sides to begin the second half. Here's Jimmer with the 18-point first half, down low to his former college teammate, Brandon Davies. But the jumper missed from Charles Abuo, another former Cougar.
You gotta get in front of him.
Team Fredette shot 43% from the field in the first half. They were 4 of 11 from long range. Peoria shot 42% from the floor, less than 36% from deep. Abuo is 0 for 2 to start the second half, but it stays with Team Fredette.
Two really good looks for Team Fredette coming out of halftime, and it's been Charles Abuo, a guy that we saw him make some open jumpers in the first half. Got a good look of a Brandon Davies pass on the first possession. Then Jimmer, nice penetration. Now Abuo just couldn't make the layup. Missed opportunity.
And Aldonis Foot gets his hand in a passing lane. Can't finish the layup, but then Montel James is fouled by Derek Cook Jr. as he tried to slam it home.
We're trapping him. We're trapping him on the screen. I know. Why is he doing it?
See just a little bit of a sloppy pass. Aldonis Foot gets in the passing lanes. Unable to finish, but guess who? Montel James right there, continuing where he left off in the first half. He has been an absolute monster in the TBT thus far.
Making a case for the all-tournament team. Montel James, 14 points, 4 rebounds in 13 minutes in the first half. Give him 15 now. Again, he had 19 and 12 in the play-in game for Peoria last night. He's even flexed his three-point shooting muscles. It's 1 for 2 from long range. James went to Loyola Chicago, Robbie, so you know Sister Jean is rooting for Peoria. I hope that doesn't make Team Fredette nervous.
Don't want to go against Sister Jean. We saw it in the Final Four.
That pass is tipped out of bounds. Again, Aldana's foot seems energized defensively. Fredette made all 3 of his 3-point shots in the first half, and Wade Guerin steps out to foul him.
He's too high. You gotta come low. Keep it up, White. Keep it up, White.
Right now, if I'm Team Fredette, though, I think I really like that action where you throw the ball into Brandon Davies and come set a flare scheme screen for Jimmer. Let him use that basketball IQ and make a play off the basketball. You know, we heard Willie Williams. He said, we want to make him a point guard. That's not Jimmer's strength of handling the ball, playing pick and roll. He can do it, but to me, he is so much better off the ball. And that's probably where Darrington Hobson's absence really hurts, because he's a guy with his size can play that point forward role. You can move Jimmer off the ball, but today without him, we've had to see Jimmer play that point position, and that's what Peoria kind of wants to see.
And that's another wrinkle to TBT that makes this even more interesting. Up until less than 24 hours before tip-off, you've got rosters that are still changing. And Team Fredette had to...
It's a fluid situation, and we've seen it in almost every team today. It's just guys don't show up all the time, and if you don't have a handle on who's going to be here, it can be a tough situation.
Fredette double-teamed and stripped. Lawrence Alexander avoids the trap, but Peoria has to get it across half court. Foot does. Crosses over Ledbetter, all the way to the cup in the finish. Team Fredette wants a timeout. What a start for Peoria in the second half. A 6-0 run to once again put Team Fredette on its heels.
Right now, Peoria just wants it a little more than Team Fredette. There's Aldana's foot showing the package and the nice little finger roll. Wow. I don't understand why they don't move Jimmer off the ball.
A look at TBT by the numbers. Over 60 players involved in the tournament this year with NBA experience. They're either players, GMs, or coaches in TBT this year. There are 27 college alumni teams playing in the 72-team field this year, and 21 players have just completed an NCAA season this year, 2017-2018. So a loaded field this year, headlined in a lot of ways by that guy you saw a moment ago, Jimmer Fredette. How about the start to the second half for the Peoria All-Stars? We were tied 44-44. At halftime, Peoria has begun on a 6-0 run, and Robbie, you want to see Jimmer Fredette moved off the ball a little bit more, like right there.
That's exactly what you want to see. You know, you bring him off a pin down, you get him in space, able to make a play. And it's not that he can't play pick and roll. It's just, to me, his strength really is when you can run him off screens and free him from some of these Peoria defenders.
Alexander short on the mid-range, gets his own miss, a prevalent theme from the first half, but this time it's taken away by Jeff Ledbetter. Jordan Crawford with a burst. He's fouled at the three-point arc by Lawrence Alexander.
Lawrence Alexander has just really struggled from the field. Right there, gets to his pull-up, gets a pretty good look. Everything right there, just, it's been short for him. He has not gotten the ball above the rim, not much arc on the jump shot. He's a guy that's so important to this Peoria team in terms of scoring the ball.
Great ball movement by Team Fredette. Ledbetter to the rack is blocked, and Foot comes away with it for Peoria. Long heave to James.
Take your time.
And now Peoria, at the behest of its coach, Willie Williams, slows the tempo. Another takeaway. Ledbetter hangs on in transition. Bucket.
Well, that is what Jeff Ledbetter does. And just an elite shooter. Give him any type of space. he is going to be able to knock that down. You look at a backcourt with Jimmer, Jeff Ledbetter, you've got some serious shot makers, and just a bad decision by Montel James. You're dribbling in the crowd, and right there, you better pick him up. I know you're thinking protect the rim, but you got a shooter like that, you are in between a rock and a hard place.
Ledbetter is a star in Mexico, and he shoots just under 10 three-pointers per game in that Mexican league. I mean,
hitting him up.
As a shooter, that's your dream, right? To be given that kind of green light. James had it underneath, but brings it back out. James was quick to close. Ledbetter might be heating up. That was well short.
Thank you. Thank you.
That goes against Team Peoria.
Good job, White. Good job, White.
With the coaches mic'd up, we've really been able to see how these guys work the refs.
No question. You see, looks like
Next
Jordan
play, next
Faison
play,
just kind
next
of got
play.
Brandon Davies
Next play.
with an elbow there.
Next
Team
play.
Fredette retains possession.
James pull up. Davies with a tough rebound. Out to Crawford. No roll. James comes in for Peoria.
Yeah.
Team Fredette wants a tie-up, and they get it.
Team Fredette's got some really solid looks here in the second half. And another one right there, Jordan Crawford unable to knock it down. Brandon Davies, to me, has done a great job of just being so aware of what Peoria is bringing in terms of double teams. When that doubles come, he's done a nice job of finding shooters, kicking it out. Hasn't paid off yet, but you have to think you keep getting quality looks like that, they're going to go down.
Face on, over Fredette, too strong.
Mike, you gotta go get that rebound.
And here's Jimmer on the ball. To James, Ledbetter, baseline drive, turns it over underneath. Marvin Jordan with a burst. Nearly went coast to coast. James with a savvy move.
Good pass.
Crawford to Davies all alone on a 2-on-1.
Right, and I think right now Willie Williams needs to call timeout. You look at Montel James, some of these Peoria bigs, they are just gassed.
Hey, under control.
Mismatch now with Rashad James on Montel James.
Look down.
And a turnover. Left for Fredette.
Hey, good, Marvin.
That's a bucket.
Some fatigue error starting to set in here for Peoria. And again, I think if you're the coach of this team, you got to get a timeout.
After a 6-0 run to start the second half, Peoria's lead is down to just one. Ferocious block in the middle by Brandon Davies. The shot clock does not reset, down to 7. James, after Jimmer over pursues, Hail Mary shot is pulled down by Team Fredette, and they can take the lead here. Crawford with acceleration, too high off glass.
Goodness.
And a hard fall underneath. Montel James looked like he fell from the ceiling there. But after another slow start, Team Fredette once again has cut the lead on Peoria, thanks in part to Jimmer Fredette.
Those are our top fans. Team Fredette.
In TBT, fans of the winning team get a 10% share of the winning team's $2 million prize. So, if you think you know who's going to win TBT this year, go to thetournament.com, register as a fan, support the team you think is going to win, and start earning points. The current top fan for Peoria All-Stars is Amanda N., while the top fan for Team Fredette is Nishan R. If their team goes on to win TBT this year, they would win $40,000. Not a bad payday, that's for sure. A summer bonus, if you will, as we continue to roll along in the Midwest Regional from Capital University, just outside Columbus in Bexley, Ohio. Robbie Hummel and Chris Foster's on hand. And we were excited about every matchup in this region in particular, but for a 2:15 matchup to be this good, this is just like a bonus in and of itself.
I think Peoria has come out and really competed. Done a nice job every time Team Fredette has made a run. They've really responded, have not gone away, and they still find themselves here with a 1-point lead.
Face on, bodied by Davies, reverse, yes.
Beautiful footwork right there, showing off what he's capable of on the low block. Goes middle, spins baseline, nice reverse.
Here's Fredette, tough shot. Fredette has over 20 points. Peoria isn't going anywhere. Winner moves on to the second round tomorrow. If you win 2 games in your region, you advance to the Super 16 in Atlanta next weekend. And Faison has back-to-back buckets for Peoria.
And he really likes spinning back to that baseline. Back-to-back, nice post moves by Faison.
Davies wanted a foul, he won't get it. And Peoria seems rejuvenated after the timeout. Robbie, you said they were looking gassed.
They just looked so tired. It was just a break. And right there, that's a mental error. We've seen when Jordan Faison had to put the basketball on the floor, typically bad things have happened in this game. Well, that's bringing the ball up. All right, here, he's in space.
Go away.
And just runs over Jimmer Fredette. And Team Fredette will regain possession.
Jordan.
Talk about establishing yourself. Fredette had been there for minutes, it felt like.
One of those where you give the ball to a big guy, their eyes light up, they get to dribble. Most of the time, bad things tend to happen.
Yeah, Faison tripped over himself, remember, in the first half, but there was a bailout call that went against Team Fredette. Foul there on Ben Friday of Peoria, and it puts Fredette at the line. If you're trying to nitpick Peoria's defense, they have allowed Fredette to get to the free throw line in this game.
And you just have to credit Jimmer Fredette for taking what the defense has given him. And I think he has had the most success today when he's been moved off the ball. He's had some struggles in the pick and roll, but you know what he's capable of as a shooter. You know what he's able to do as a player. And you said it, he hasn't had his best game, but then you look down at the stat sheet and you look at what he's scored. He has been productive. And right now, getting to the line on a night when maybe he hasn't had his best stuff offensively.
235 career NBA games for Jimmer Fredette, the National Player of the Year in 2011 at Brigham Young.
And it's funny you say he hasn't had his best stuff because he's got 26 points. It's just, that's the kind of offensive talent he is.
Davies is fouled after coming down with the rebound on the Wade Guerin miss.
That foul saved a bucket. I know Brandon Davies is going to walk to the free throw line, but Rashad James was all the way down the court. All Brandon Davies had to do was look up. He had him for a layup. So really a smart play and a smart foul there by Peoria.
Davies is 5 for 7 at the foul line today. And our next WNBA game of the week is Tuesday, and it's a matchup between teams that begin with L but are looking for a W. It's the Liberty and the Lynx at Target Center in Minneapolis, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ESPN2 and streaming live on the ESPN app. Guerin with a tough rebound for Peoria. Another tie late in the third quarter between number 2 Team Fredette, number 15 seed Peoria All-Stars, and a hard foul puts Aldana's Foot at the free throw line.
Well, that's what you want to see from a guy like Aldana's Foot. We've seen him sometimes settle for three-point shots, and again, it's about taking what the defense gives you. You've got a lane to the rim. You get into that painted area, draw some contact, get yourself to the free throw line. Get yourself an easy one.
Aldana's Foot, remember, was only 4 of 13 shooting in the play-in game last night. He's had a much more consistent performance for Peoria in the first round today. 6 points now and 4 rebounds, but he's made an impact on either end of the floor. And I think at this point, you just have to assume we're in for a close game all the way to the finish.
Man, Jordan Crawford, he has got some speed. A little out of control there, but he turns on those jets. He can go.
Foot, pull up.
You know what? You get yourself to the line. You keep playing pick and roll. Now that defense is back. They're worried about you driving. Now you got your pull-up game. Aldana's Foot just showing a maturity right now on the offensive end of the floor.
Crawford is good in a phone booth, too, in terms of his agility and speed. Here's Rashad James, late addition to the Team Fredette roster. Fall away shot. Won't get it to fall, but he does draw the foul.
You see Jeffrey White right now. He's pointing right in his head. And he's saying, you played good defense. You did what you had to do. Rashad James drives that basketball hard with the left hand. You're in position. All you got to do is contest. Instead, you reach down, make a tough shot. You're looking at an off-balance pull-up jump shot. Instead, now you send him to the free throw line. So much of basketball is mental. It's about making the right play and playing intelligently.
The foul structure in TBT is similar to that of the NBA. So 6 personal fouls, and then you're out. And then per quarter, once a team makes its 5th team foul of the quarter, that puts the other team in the bonus.
He mad because he got that haircut. Hey, Kiki, he mad at his haircut.
Some interesting coaching
I'm getting mad. Nobody told you cut your hair like that.
Trash talk is a part of the game.
That's the trash talk, yeah.
Tatum, you gonna pull Kiki down. You mad at your barber. That's who you need to be mad at, your barber.
That's good. That's awesome.
There are players on the Peoria bench right now laughing.
There's some commentators on the bench laughing right now, too.
4th man of our broadcast team, Willie Williams, general manager for the Peoria All-Stars.
Hey, get back, get back.
A lot of guys on this Peoria team played high school basketball together. The 2 main high schools in Peoria, Peoria High, which is where Sean Livingston went, and then Manual High. Jeff White, who just shot those free throws for Peoria, went to Manual High. He was teammates in high school with Marvin Jordan, number 23 in red. There's Tatum with the haircut and the bucket. Well, that's going to quiet Willie Williams down.
Tatum says, right back at you, Willie. Steps into that corner 3, and a guy like Jamal Tatum, just a Southern Illinois legend. You look at what he was able to accomplish in his career. He's a part of the Southern Illinois Hall of Fame.
3-year starter at SIU. Closing seconds of the third quarter. Remember, the Elam ending is less than a quarter away now.
We've had 2 really good Elam endings throughout today already, and this game shaping up to look like it could be another great third.
It stays with Team Peoria. 5.6 seconds left on the clock.
Good job.
Have to be aware of Jimmer Fredette coming off a pin down here. Under out of bounds. So lethal. Have to be aware with switching and what you're doing at all times.
Tatum again. 5 quick ones off the bench.
Willie Williams maybe woke the beast here. Jamal Tatum making some big-time shots to end the third quarter.
Great job, Jamal. Way to be ready. Way to be
We
ready.
were tied at
Great
halftime.
job.
It's a 1-point game going into the 4th quarter. It's been an outstanding start to the Midwest Regional. Can Peoria pull off the upset? We've got the 4th quarter and the Elam ending coming up next.
Yeah, Willie Williams was awesome right there. He got that haircut.
He met at his barber.
The X Games was wild.
That's,
yeah,
I got that one again.
Yeah, that one is crazy.
Oh, that's okay.
I can't believe Jimmer has 26. Like, I don't feel like he does.
It's like they're counting someone else's points for his.
Yeah, seriously. That's wild.
X Games Minneapolis continues tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN. The world's best action sports athletes will be competing in the Fruit of the Loom BMX Dirt, Moto X Best Whip, Monster Energy Moto X Best Trick, and the Real Cost Skateboard Big Air Finals. You can also watch the X Games streaming live on the ESPN app. And if you haven't had your fill of TBT, Robbie and I will be with you on ESPN3 for the evening package of games in the Midwest Regional. But we've got the finish for you coming up in this 2:15 matchup. Peoria wouldn't say this is unexpectedly close, but they lead the 2-seed team Fredette 66-65 with the Elam ending coming up, and there are the nuts and bolts of the new ending to TBT 2018. Again, timed play ends at the first stoppage under 4 minutes in this, the fourth quarter. You then set a target score, which is equivalent to the leading team's total score plus 7, and you play to that total. Where's Jamal Tatum been?
I don't know. I guess it took for Willie Williams to make fun of his haircut for him to come out here offensively, but in the last 2 minutes of this game, he has really made an impact. And right now, Team Fredette looking for him. Run a little pick and roll with Jordan Crawford. You stick a guy like Jamal Tatum who can make shots in the corner. You're in that corner, you're going to find yourself with some opportunities. That help side defense has to suck into the paint, take the roller. Right now, Jamal Tatum making the most of this opportunity.
Tatum last played overseas with the Dusseldorf Giants in the German Bundesliga. That's the top league in Germany. So he's a very experienced overseas professional. Tie game here in the fourth quarter. Alexander stripped in the lane by Jordan Crawford. Fredette pulls up. A rare miss for Fredette.
What a rebound by Thomas Wood. He went up over everybody.
El, I got you, El. I got you, El.
The rebound comes off. Adonis Foot higher than everybody. Montel James included.
That was Jimmer Fredette's first miss from long range of this game. It was also his first attempt of the second half. He still has 26 points.
I like the aggressiveness, though. I mean, you shoot that kind of percentage. I'm okay with you shooting that 3 in transition.
He certainly got the track record of hitting shots like that before. Foot. Short.
That's just a settle. We've seen him have success going to the rim, getting in mid-range. Why settle for a contested NBA range 3-point shot?
Another pile up on the other end this time. A jump ball was called, and it stays with Team Peoria.
Just a great effort there by Montel James, making a play. And I'm a little surprised that Jamal Tatum didn't get that timeout.
He was asking. On the fresh shot clock, face on underneath, too strong. Cook Jr. pulls it down.
Just a missed opportunity, too. He did his work early, had Derek Cook sealed. Could not finish over the length of Cook, though.
Fredette blocked and fouled.
Take the charge. That's a foul all day long.
Again, Team Fredette is the 2 seed in the region. We're in Columbus, Ohio. The 1 seed is Scarlet and Gray. You'll see them in action later today. Everyone is looking up to Scarlet and Gray in this region. How do you think Team Fredette looks compared to the 1 seed?
I think for their first time playing together, you know, it's going to be tough. And there is a lot of talent in this region. Like you said, Scarlet and Gray, to me, is the clear favorite in this region, but a lot of talent on this Team Fredette squad as well. And I think going forward, you're going to see them make major improvements, and they're going to have to win this game. Right now, they lead by 2. A lot can happen in 7:54, but you know, they are very new. They're a very new team, and right now, it's going to be quantum leaps of improvement because they just haven't been together.
Montel James.
Man, just a tough, contested jump shot. He's made plays all day and continues right there.
24 points for the alumnus of Loyola Chicago, and then he makes an impact on the defensive end.
You see, Peoria fortunate to retain possession from an earlier near turnover, but just makes a play, and there you go. Montel James gets his feet outside the charge circle, sacrifices the body for the charge. Doing a little bit of everything today for Peoria. He has had a tremendous tournament.
Good looking shot, too. Here's Foot. Wild shot off glass. It comes down to Team Fredette. Up to Jimmer. What a finish.
Jimmer Fredette doing it in transition right now. I think he wanted a foul, and I think he has a good case for it. There was contact on the drive.
White is fouled underneath. You saw Jimmer's last bucket hang on the rim a little bit, and that's an important note about the rules here at TBT.
Yeah, we're going to see Jimmer. There is some contact there, probably a foul. Honestly, Rashad James could come in and slam dunk that basketball with the way the rules are here in TBT, and that's the way it is in Europe. If he wants to, when that ball's hanging on the rim as an offensive player, you go and tip dunk that thing because you're guaranteeing yourself 2 points. Now, as a defender, I can go up there, I can bat that thing off the rim. And I think, Chris, it'd be fun to watch that rule get enacted in the NBA. You got athletes like LeBron James and Kevin Durant flying in there, knocking balls off the rim. I think that would be incredibly exciting for the game.
Davies draws contact and bangs it home. Jimmer wanted a foul.
That was the weight room.
Airmail over Montel James. One thing that you said about that rule that is not allowed currently in the way the NBA is structured, the American players come to TBT and sometimes have a tough time adjusting or just remembering that.
It's a mental aspect of the game. You're not programmed. When that ball's on the rim as an American player, you're thinking to yourself, I have to let it come off. You go over to Europe and you see these guys, they are flying in there, batting balls off the rim.
Get the ball.
2-point lead for Team Fredette.
Relax.
We are 2 minutes and change away approximately from the Elam ending. It will take effect after the first timeout, first dead ball under 4 minutes. Foul on the floor, it goes against Team Fredette.
A nice look there from Jeffrey White playing pick and roll. Jordan Faison had been in that paint for a good amount of time, maybe at 3 seconds. Call could have been called there, but I like the fact that Peoria is looking to throw that basketball inside.
Faison traveled. Remember when the game began, Peoria was not settling. They were hitting their outside shots, but they have definitely almost adjusted to the size of Brendan Davies and Team Fredette. They're not afraid to work it in more in the second half. Ledbetter, top of the key. Wide left, Foot's got it. Inside again.
Great pass.
James, 15-footer. Tipped back in by Faison.
And even with Brandon Davies' size, this Peoria All-Star team continues to pound the glass. Jordan Faison, he has been such a factor on the offensive end.
Marvin Jordan pounded the floor, nearly got blown by. Davies, big man. No touch, James with the rebound. Here's White. Kick
Good
out.
pass.
Faison. All right, now 1 minute to go until the 4-minute mark left in the fourth quarter.
Good
Davies
extra pass.
all alone, and it'll be interesting to see how teams strategize here in terms of setting up their lead, extending their lead, and then perhaps choosing to call a timeout if you have the lead and under 4 minutes to set the score, the target score for the Elam ending.
And that's going to be a decision that these coaches are faced with. You can take a gamble. You know, when that clock hits 4, these refs are not going to blow the whistle dead. They're going to let you play, and you can take a gamble. Can our team maybe knock down a 3 where we can push that lead out to 5 instead of 2, where we now have a 5-point cushion aside with the 7-point game that we're now going to play. But on the other side of that, you could also go out there, turn the ball over, and give up an easy layup, and now your 5-point or your 2-point lead is now your tied. So it kind of goes both ways on you. And it's going to be a gamble that these coaches have to factor in and have to take.
Join Linda Cohn and John Buccigross for SportsCenter tonight on ESPN after X Games Minneapolis. They'll have highlights from Clayton Kershaw and Justin Verlander's starts on the mound, plus the return of some #1 QBs have their teams buzzing. And they'll have post-round reactions from the 3rd round of the British Open. Robbie, I know you're following that avidly. SportsCenter, 11 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Tiger Woods charging. Love it.
He was 5 under earlier today, right?
Too premature to say he's back.
Oh, you were saying he was back. I'm not letting him slide there. Here's Marvin Jordan. Some wiggle, but it falls off the rim. Again, second chance points for Peoria. Amazing, really. They are outscoring Team Fredette 25-3 in the second chance category. They don't need a second chance opportunity there as Rashad James cans it.
Well, that's just a great job by Jimmer Fredette of getting into the paint and finding Rashad James. Now Lawrence Alexander, his tough afternoon continues, pushing off, and you kind of feel like this momentum has completely swung to Team Fredette with 4:14 left in the fourth quarter. Just a very intelligent play. You find yourself in the paint, you've drawn 2 guys. Now Rashad James wide open. But basketball's an easy game. When you play it the right way, good things tend to happen. And that's Jimmer just going out and making a play, playing the right way.
This feels like it's Team Fredette's largest lead of the day. Even when Peoria has sacrificed the lead, Team Fredette has never really been able to open things up. There's a kick ball. And yes, this is Team Fredette's largest lead of the game. Peoria's largest lead was 12 in the final minute of the first quarter. James just hit a 3, keeps it in his pocket this time. Now he shoots.
It does not take much for Rashad James to get it going. And in the last minute, he has made 2 of the biggest shots of the game. Play a little pick and roll. Little hesitation, just good basketball. Rashad James showing that he can make plays. If you're not going to have a hand up, he's a guy, he has scored 50 points in the G League game. He is a known scorer. Played last season in Turkey, and right now gives Team Fredette an 8-point lead with 2 monster 3-point shots.
Okay? Now again,
Let's listen in.
Don't change the way we play. Keep attacking.
We're going to stop.
We know we got one left. This is it. One left. Yeah, one left. Okay, let's go. Keep playing. Here we go.
Well, I love the fact, that's a great point. We're not changing the way that we're playing just because of the Elam score, and it hasn't been set yet. Team Fredette has been able to really push this lead out. But as soon as that target score gets picked, you can't change the way, you can't lose your mind about how you're going to play offensively. You have to stay with what you've been doing. And really, whether that's been Jimmer playing pick and roll and finding teammates, or on the offensive end, you're moving Jimmer off the ball, letting Rashad James play. You got to keep going what you've been doing.
Now that is a goaltend, regardless of what country you're playing in. But to the point that you just made, based on the comments we heard from Mike Taylor in the Team Fredette huddle, we have seen teams, for wrong reasons, really change the way they play just because of the Elam ending.
Well, players tend to, you want to win the game. You want to be the guy that wins the game. Oh, wow. And just Peoria's made some plays here where they just really shot themselves in the foot.
3:47 to go. We are under 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. That means when we return, the Elam ending is in effect with Team Fredette by 6.
Wow, that was a stupid-ass turnover.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Man. So that's not TJ Fredette, the tall guy.
I know, he's over there.
All right, and we're talking over that animation? Okay. .347 to go in the fourth quarter, and we won't talk about the game clock specifically anymore. It's the Elam ending. So we've reached the first dead ball with under 4 minutes to play. The game clock shuts off, and a target score has now been set equal to the leading team's total, in this case, Team Fredette's score of 80 plus 7. So the target score in this game between the 2-seed Team Fredette and the 15-seed Peoria All-Stars is 87. First team to 87 wins, no ifs, ands, or buts.
And really, we've seen today some really exciting endings, whether that's Big X taking down Chattanooga or Always a Brave being unable to score at the end of their game. They're going home. And I think the cool thing about this ending is you have to win the game. It becomes almost like tennis, where you can't run the clock out, you can't kneel it out. You got to make plays, keep playing the way you are, and you got to score that number that wins the game for you.
Just like playing with your brother in the driveway or at the YMCA. You're playing to a score, not a time. There's an injury on the floor right now. Jeffrey White, Peoria's point guard. He hopped right back up, but here's what happened.
See Jeffrey White kind of trail right in there. There's that ankle, that left foot turning right over. As a player, that is no fun. Everybody that's played basketball has had that sprained ankle, and it's just, you hope it's one of those where it hurts like crazy initially, and then it kind of goes away, and tonight it's not too black and blue or swollen. He can continue to play.
Yeah, you don't want to wake up tomorrow and see a grapefruit
No,
on your
that is
ankle.
not fun.
Brandon Davies at the free throw line. And he does not advance Team Fredette closer to that target score of 87. The Elam ending, by the way, is named for its founder, Nick Elam, a college professor at the University of Dayton. You talk about a basketball junkie, we give you Nick Elam. He DVR'd 2,000 basketball games between NCAA and NBA and determined the ineffectiveness of teams who intentionally foul late in games when they trail. Lawrence is still ice cold, but the putback works for Montel James.
You have to think that Lawrence Alexander needs to be able to make a shot here from the perimeter if Peoria wants to be able to get back in this game. However, we did see it earlier. That's a beautiful move by Jordan Crawford. We saw it earlier today. Always a Brave, up 9, score gets set, unable to score, and they're going home. Primetime players able to come back and knock them off. So we've seen this today. But right now, Team Fredette finds themselves just 4 points away from winning this game.
Well, Jordan Crawford, the former Bowling Green Falcon, just left Aldana's foot in his wake.
You see that? We've shown the speed all night. Right there, the change of direction, puts it between the legs. Bye-bye, Aldana's foot. He's so sliding out of the picture. That's a beautiful move. And a big shot for Team Fredette as they inch their way closer to winning this game.
Team Fredette is 4 away, and some important free throws here for Peoria. That one's good for Lawrence Alexander, the product out of North Dakota State. Two for two. All right, so it is a 5-point game, but again, you see the target score in the upper right-hand corner. First one to 87 wins. Crawford, big shot, in and out. Rebound to Peoria.
But great action there. Love the handoff, love the roll and rise. They get a good look for Jordan Crawford, and it just falls off the rim.
Alexander can't buy a bucket.
He is really struggling, Chris. He has not been able to make shots from the perimeter, and he's a guy that this Peoria team has needed to make shots from 3.
Alexander is a combined 2 for 22 from the floor in the tournament. Fredette draws contact.
Good job, Jimmer.
That's Montel James, Peoria's best player in the tournament. He's been fun to watch. 28 points and 12 rebounds. Grown man out there.
No, he has been a monster, both last night and today. A force on the glass. He's shown the mid-range game. He's gotten it done in the paint. And he's a guy that you watch play. He's certainly undersized, and that probably has hurt him a little bit in terms of playing professionally. But it's like, for a guy that's that effective, how did he not play basketball professionally last year? You wonder why. He's had a great TBT.
And James began the 2016-17 season playing overseas in France, but he didn't finish the season abroad. He came back early. So Team Fredette can win the game with a jump shot. But first, Peoria needs points of its own, and they get it from Aldana's foot. Now Team Fredette can win the game with a jump shot here. James to win it. Yes! Team Fredette is on to the second round of TBT.
How big was Rashad James? I mean, in the fourth quarter, both he and Jamal Tatum, when their numbers were called, both those guys stepped up to the plate. For most of the game, it was Jimmer and Brandon Davies. But come crunch time, man, Rashad James made some major league shots along with Jamal Tatum, and Team Fredette is moving on to the second round.
14 points in the game for Rashad James, 3 of 6 from long range. Here's the game-winning bucket.
You see the dribble penetration. Jordan Crawford draws Montel James into the lane, have to stop the basketball, especially when it's just a 2-point lead, or 2 points to win the game. And there you see it, Rashad James knows they're moving on.
Rashad James scored all 9 of his 3-point field goal points in the fourth quarter. Big moment for Rashad James when his team needed him. And how about the work of Peoria, not only in this tournament, but specifically in this game? They gave Team Fredette all it could handle as we look at Team Fredette's namesake, who, as a good teammate would, passes it off to Rashad James to officially put Team Fredette's plaque into the second round. The 2 seed is moving on. That's a pretty good group right there in that shot, Robbie.
Have to like the talent that Team Fredette has. Brandon Davies, Derek Cook, Jimmer Fredette, a lot of big-time names, big-time talent, and they really grinded a win out there. Did not play their best basketball. There's no question about that, Chris. But as we said earlier in the game, as they get more experience together, as they get more comfortable, and you even saw that, I think, with Rashad James at the end, finally kind of finding his spots, made some big-time shots. They're going to be a team that's very dangerous going forward in the TBT.
32 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists for Jimmer Fredette, and for his post-game reaction, we once again join Jen Hale.
They let you grab you, like.
Thanks, Chris. Here with Jimmer. Jimmer, congratulations. A big win for this team there at the end. What changed? Your team seemed to take control there in the last minute or so.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's tough. In the first game, you got to try to get the first quarter jitters out. You know, Peoria, they played last night, were able to get a game under their belt, so they came in ready to go. And, you know, we weren't prepared in that first quarter. So we had to come back, but we did a good job of clamping down and taking over in the fourth quarter, making big shots, and ended up winning the game. So it was a great effort by the Peoria team. I give them all the credit in the world.
Did they do something particular to you defensively at the beginning of the game? It seemed to take you a little bit of a moment to get into rhythm.
I mean, I haven't played a regular basketball game in like 4 months, you know what I mean? So it's a different feel, so you got to get yourself into it, see how you feel. And, you know, I just tried to get into the game slowly and started to feel better, and then started to get more and more into a rhythm. So, but they did a great job of, you know, the whole game just being pressure and staying up into me.
We've been talking about all your success in China. What is it like now to be back playing on U.S. soil?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's great to be able to play for a U.S. crowd for once, and to get back here and play. You know, this arena was sold out, which was fun. Good little atmosphere. So I mean, it was a great opportunity to come out and play and show what you can do.
Fun to see you again, and we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the win.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Jen.
Guys.
32 points, and it was 4 months since he had played a meaningful basketball game. Imagine how he's going to look tomorrow when Team Fredette plays the winner of the 7-10 matchup in round 2 of the Midwest Regional from Columbus. Team Fredette survives to the second round. We'll be back to wrap it up coming up shortly from Columbus on ESPN.